Okay, it's 10 o'clock and I'd like to call the regular meeting of the San Mateo County Harbor District Board of Commissioners to order at on July 15th, 2026. Roll call or Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
President Damarat. Commissioner Zemke.
I'm here.
Commissioner Matoush.
Here.
Commissioner Slater Carter. Commissioner Chang Crowley.
Present. So we have a quorum and we'll move on to public comments for items that are not on the agenda. And we have one from Birgitta Bowers. Welcome, Birgitta.
There. Hi, I'm Birgitta Bauer and
Birgitta, sorry to interrupt you. Let me just start the timer really quick, okay?
tell me when.
There's a little lag, so just give me a second.
Please proceed.
Good morning, and I'm Birgitta Bauer from El Granada. It appears that the board has a problem telling information from misinformation, facts from gossip. In October, I sent the general manager and the board a complaint regarding the Pillar Point RV Park. It concerned the lack of signage for public parking, the blatant disregard to any regulation on length of stay. I cited the CDP. I had screenshots of the RV park website. I had photos. I had a video. I had 9 other people read this complaint and put their names on it. These were proven facts. At the October 27th meeting, it was called misinformation, and Commissioner Shankiarli said absolute propaganda. The general manager kept denying the facts until even he couldn't. The general manager Pruitt wrote me a defamatory letter in March based on misinformation. It was a lie. I watched the July 7 Harbor Finance meeting where Coast Guard boss Michelle Dragoni was attacked over gossip. Commissioner Shankiarli alleged that some people, not named, not the majority, but some people, had told her they felt that the Coast Guard boss was biased. Oh no, there was no concrete evidence or anything, but they felt this. And so what did Michelle have to say about that? This is gossip. Michelle was left trying to defend herself from something unspecified, but somehow very concerning. Kafka would have appreciated it. Commissioner Shankiarli told Michelle she needed to polish the apple more. That is not the original idiom and thing that you can actually not polish. If the harbor wants to improve its image, restore the parking for Surfers Beach, and donate the Burnham Strip parcels to the GCSD. Thank you. Thank you. Leaving the bar. Very good. You can make it public.
Any other public comment?
And here you go.
Thank you.
In writing.
Yeah, okay, great. So we'll submit this in writing for the record. Thank you.
Elvis.
Okay, are there any comments? Are there any members of the public who wish to comment online? Okay, then I will close item C in public comment and we'll go to commissioner comments. Anyone? Bill? Tom?
Well, salmon has been quite a challenge with the El Nino-like conditions and 60-degree water, kind of hit and miss. So I look forward to our harbor being full of boats and people catching fish regularly. It's very good to see the squid boats working. Halibut is reportedly very good near shore as well. So it's we've got a few days of great weather and good fishing.
Thank you, Catherine. Okay, I just want to thank the evaluation committee for going through the responses of the RFPs for the potential tenants at the harbor. So I think Tom and Catherine are on it. So thanks for all the work and thanks to Jim and staff for getting all of that material ready. Okay, I will go to E, activity reports. General Manager, Jim, if there's anything you'd wish to add, this would be the time to do that.
There was I'd just like to mention for the tragic event that happened in San Francisco Bay yesterday with a vessel that sank. Reports were 20 people on board. 17 people were rescued. One person was already recovered, deceased, and there's still 2 people missing. We did get a call to respond to that from Pillar Point Harbor and helping that search, but we don't have the personnel to maintain a response like that. So we had to decline that request for assistance to go out there and help, but they are still actively looking for 2 additional people. Beyond that, this was a great month. With presentations to the public, I met with the Pacifica Democrats and also with the Pacifica Rotary Club and talked about the West Trail Project, the Princeton Project, Surfers Beach Replenishment and Dredge, and the Word of 2024 Pillar Point Flood and Storm Resiliency Study. It was extremely well received by both groups. And then that's also resulted now in an invitation for an interview in the local radio station as one of their key features, which I'll be doing here in the near future. We started our planning project for the Lighted Boat Festival. So that's coming along. It'll be, we're envisioning now it's going to be almost the entire parking lot there in the center between the Harbor Master's office and Tenant Row with one emergency lane. So even more booths, food trucks and drones and music. You've already talked about the request for proposals. We got a new request for another half marathon. So we're pursuing that through the Mermaid series. We're in the initial development phase, but I also connected the director of Mermaid Service series runs with the RNA Foundation, and they're working together to boost both numbers of both. So they're expecting about 1,000 runners. We're going to do it in the spring instead of the fall, so no conflict. So we're working on that. And we had another meeting of the San Mateo County Coastside Coordination Planning meeting. That's the group that we pulled together with all the agencies involved with projects here on the coast side, so we can learn what we're all doing and synergize each project, try to get the benefit from each other and working together on all that. In the Princeton project, I just met with them yesterday. It is still on time and on schedule, and they have the funding to go to the next step. They have about 6 alternatives they're developing right now that once they're developed and costed out, we'll have another public meeting and bring those options to the public to get their input on which option they would prefer. Then finally, we have 2 separate companies interested in saunas at the harbor. They're both different types of operations. One is a standalone without utilities, separate utilities. One will need utilities. So I'm working with both those companies to bring in saunas for the harbor so people can come and enjoy a hot sauna and then jump into the cold Pacific Ocean.
Oh, that would be unique, and I look forward to that.
It will not be me. But it's another service we can offer the public to bring to the coast and try to get more people to see what we have to offer out here and learn about the ocean environment. So
Maybe they'd be interested in Oyster Point too. There's a lot more people there who would love a quick sauna and a dip for lunch.
I can mention that.
Any,
That is it.
any commissioner questions or comments?
Well, comments, there are stories from the Half Moon Bay Yacht Club where one of the prior tenants used to take a bath and then run into the harbor there, stark naked. And it's been tried before.
We will not be promoting the nudity part of that.
Yeah, I would just like to make a comment that over the 6 years I've been on the board, I've seen a steady increase in our ability to attract the public and do things and do events. And I think that's in large part due to the leadership of the board and also our general manager. And I just think we need to kind of recognize that is a valuable contribution to the community that's being provided.
I agree. No, I was thinking when you first started talking about it, that's not gonna bring in much. But then I thought, it'll bring a lot of interesting people who will want to buy tickets. And maybe visit one of our new businesses that we're talking about putting in on the front row there. And so, depending on liabilities and this, that, and the other thing, it's kind of like the boarding, the boarding rental that we've got there. It doesn't bring a ton of people, but it sets us apart from Oakland as a harbor, and I think.
Is your microphone on?
Whoops. Yeah, my microphone is usually off. Anyway, I think it brings more people and helps to attract more interest in the harbor. And my longtime philosophy, I used to have Japanese homestay students, and I'd always take them to Marine World because I wanted them to see marine mammals as something other than dinner. And so if we can use this to get people interested in protecting the ocean, I think we are definitely furthering our mission. Thank you.
We do have an online comment.
On this issue? Okay, great. So I'll take public comment on the general manager's report, and we have someone online.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just give me one moment. Okay. Dan, are you on the line?
Yes.
Dan, are you there? Okay, I'm just going to start the timer in a moment. You can begin speaking.
Yes, good morning. Question for the general manager. Can you report on any significant discussion that you've had in this meeting that you reported with the different agencies on the coast side, the synergistic nature? Can you give us anything as to what was discussed instead of just saying that, you had a meeting?
Would you like me to address that?
If you want to answer, if you have an answer.
This was a meeting of not all of the agencies, but a small group of the agencies that were discussing how this group will be set up, how it will be led, and how it will function and what the purposes are in the geographic regions. And we're developing that document now, and we're meeting again next week to kind of finalize that proposal for the entire group. And then in August sometime, we're meeting again with the entire group to discuss that. But again, the main focus of this group is that all the agencies involved with projects on the coast side, from Half Moon Bay, GCSD, Harbor District, Coastal Commission, Caltrans, Water Board, and SAM, Montera, are all get together and talk about their projects so that we don't duplicate efforts and take advantage of each other's funding to improve the coast side for the public.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Any other public comment from the online?
Dan had something to respond.
Okay, then I'm going to close public comment. Yeah, this is not discussion. Yeah, this is not a back and forth. Okay, so if there are no other public comments, then I'm going to move to the operations activities report from Director of Operations, John Moran.
Morning, Commissioners, public. The month of June was not extremely eventful. We did have the salmon net set up and smolt releases. We talked about, I think, at the last board meeting, because it happened before the last board meeting. Occupancy at both harbors remained constant. We did see some busy weekends, both at Oyster Point and Pillar Point, due to the salmon opener. However, the weather kind of hindered a real big outturn. Really got nothing else to report for this month.
Any other public comments or questions by commissioners? No? Okay, then we'll go on to C, which is the Administration and Finance report from our Interim Director of Administrative Services, Rochelle Medina. Rochelle?
Yes, thank you. I think this time of year is really interesting as we look back on the previous fiscal year and some of the metrics that the Administration and Finance Department reports out on. Just of interest was the increase in this last fiscal year in commercial activity permits issued by the district at 33, and in the previous year there were 25. So I think that is a good gain. In addition, Commissioner Zemke, I also wanted to bring up that we also issued 17 event permits in the last fiscal year, 10 at Pillar Point and 7 at Oyster Point Marina. And that doesn't include the events that we host ourselves. So lots of positive activity happening at our facilities. That's all I have to add. Thank you.
Any commissioner comments or questions? Any public comment? Okay. I just want to thank you and your team for putting the financials and the budget together that we approved. So thank you. That's a lot of work.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, moving on to the consent calendar. Would anyone like to take something off the consent calendar?
Motion to approve items 1 through 5, F, consent.
Hey, moved by Commissioner Matoush and seconded by Commissioner Slater Carter. Any public comment? I don't have any here, so roll call please for a vote.
Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Matoush,
Aye.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Chencarelli,
Aye.
President Damarot.
So that motion carries, and we'll move on to our discussion items. G1, which is the location change for regular meetings of Board of Harbor Commissioners. Jim?
Good morning again. This issue or this staff report concerns moving a few of our board meetings over to the Bayside. And the board was interested in doing that and finding a location for that. Thanks to the great work of the Deputy Board Secretary, Melanie Haddon, we were able to work with the City of San Francisco and get permission to use their brand new City Council chambers.
Did you say San Francisco or South?
South San Francisco. They're brand new council chambers twice a year. And I think it was, what months did we say? May and September.
September, yeah.
So there is no charge for that. It's free of charge. And the recommendation from staff is to adopt Resolution 2609 to provide for 2 regular meetings of the Harbor Commission to be held at the City Council Chambers, City of South San Francisco Park and Rec Center at 901 Civic Campus Way, South San Francisco, California. Again, the the emphasis behind this is to get our reach out to more of the public and get us onto the other side, as we're an entire district is the San Mateo County. If we do this, we have to publicize it in accordance with the Harbor Navigation Code and then follow through, and then we're good to go. I'm looking forward to using their spaces, and I'm very thankful for them. With respect to the other actions of the board, the board can take no action and continue having meetings here at Avenue Alhambra. They can disapprove the draft resolution and continue to hold the meetings here. They can pull the item and refer it to the subcommittee for further evaluation. They can amend the draft resolution and approve as amended, or any other option identified by the board. Again, my recommendation is approve the resolution, and staff will then begin working on coordinating the meetings for the board over in South San Francisco.
I move to approve the resolution.
Well, let me open it up to public comment really quickly.
You can't after,
Oh, you want to just
I'm
start
just
the
making, I
discussion?
want to start the discussion. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, motion moved by Commissioner Slater Carter and seconded by Commissioner Matoush. I'll open this item up for public comment. I don't have anything up here for this item, but is there anyone online? Okay, Commissioner comments or questions?
Oh, I would like to make a comment. I know this
Sure.
has probably been a long time coming, and I've been kind of pushing for it a while on both sides, both the city side and on our side. And I do want to thank Jim for making this happen. And I'm really encouraged by trying to do things that give us more presence in South City, both with the city organization and with the city population in general. I'm trying to do the same thing with Oyster Point Marina. I'm working with Jim Smith this afternoon to develop an application for a concert in the park so that they can get a booth at the concert in the park, which is the main festival event in South San Francisco, which I think would be a really great opportunity to get more exposure, because most of the people in South San Francisco that live on the other side of the freeway don't know what's happening out on the bay unless they happen to work out there. So I think this is a really important step in doing that.
It's my recollection, through the chair, my recollection that I remember going over to quite a few meetings in the South City Council chambers, but I think it was COVID or something like that that caused that to stop, and I'm glad we're putting it back in.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did before COVID.
Yeah.
I think the last meeting we had there was in 2019.
It
Yes.
probably was. And this is in different locations right across the street in the new and improved council chambers. So it should work real well.
Okay. Any public comment? Okay, then there's been a motion and a second, and we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Chankrali,
Aye.
President Damarap, Commissioner Zemke,
Aye.
Commissioner Matoush.
Aye.
The motion carries, and we'll move on to item G2, the Coastside Buzz Professional Service Agreement. Jim, do you want to kick this off, or do you want?
I'm more than happy to brief the report for you, yes.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Good morning again. This is a Finance Committee report. The Finance Committee met earlier this month to review the professional service contract with the Coastside Buzz LLC. The recommended motion coming out of the Finance Committee was to authorize the general manager to sign the enclosed fiscal year 26-27 professional service agreement as amended between San Mateo County Harbor District and the Coastside Buzz LLC on the district's behalf. Again, there's a whole range of options the board can consider, from take no action to refer it to the subcommittee for edits, or to simply pull this item and move on. Those are all listed in the Finance Committee report. The Coastside Buzz is the main function is to get our information out, and it is focused on the coast side. It does not cover the bay side at all. It does reach, some of their metrics reach to millions of people through either not Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and then the web page itself. Active users on the website were 29,000 in June. New users coming to that site in June were 26,000. And then the average age was in their 20s, getting the information out there. The Instagram does extremely well, both on the coast side, and people visiting the coast side are signed up for it. All the local news agencies also engage with the Coastside Buzz to follow the stories that are posted. And again, she doesn't, or shouldn't say, the Coastside Buzz did not post original content. They take our content and narrate it so the public can find it in an easier format on this website. In June, they published our information concerning the request for proposals. They also published the Johnson Pier Terminus project for the Department of our grant application from MARAD. They published information on the election coming up in 2026. And then also San Mateo District, Old Catch Joanne Space at Pillar Point Harbor to 6 potential leasees, because we did have an open house down there and 6 potential leasees came and looked at it. So she published that. Again, this is for 1 year. One of the major things that came out of the Finance Committee was to, again, recommend approval of this for another 12 months, or the professional service agreement for another 12 months. But the committee also discussed the larger issue of public affairs and public outreach, and directed staff to come back to the committee prior to the end of the year with options to address on how to improve the district's public affairs, public outreach efforts. And the committee hopes to bring this issue back to the full board in the spring of 2027. Attached to the staff report again was the Finance Committee agenda, the staff report developed for that Finance Committee, the June invoice, which shows the metrics for June of 2026, draft professional service agreement that it was amended based on input from the Finance Committee, and then the scope of work remains the same. And again, it's my the Finance Committee's recommendation is to authorize the general manager to sign resolution 2609 on behalf of the Harbor District. With that, I'll turn it back over to the board president.
Thank you, Jim. I'll open this up to public comment because we do have someone here, Barbara Dye.
Yes, but that's not the one I was going to talk about. Sorry.
Oh, you have G2 on here. No worries, I'll change it. No,
Actually, can I also just talk in this?
sure.
I think Coastside Buzz does a great job. Barbara Dye, El Granada, I think Coastside Buzz does a great job and provides an incredible amount of information to our community.
Great, thank
Barbara,
you.
I have a quick question. Does GCSD hire Coastside Buzz?
No,
To
at
do
this
any
point.
work?
No.
Oh, so it's like MWSD, GCSD connections with Coastside Buzz is through the account at Sewer Authority Mid-Coast.
Right.
Yeah,
And I know-
that was actually brought up in the meeting, and Michelle Dragony confirmed that.
Right.
Thank you.
And I think when not speaking as an official GCSD board member or Sewer Authority board member, but I think as Sewer Authority board members, when we vote to support that, we're voting. It is clear that Michelle is going to be publicizing information of value to the community about all the agencies.
Thank you. I'll open it up to commissioner comments or questions.
I'd like to authorize the general manager to sign the enclosed FY 26-27 professional services agreement as amended between the San Mateo County Harbor District and Coastside Buzz LLC on the district's behalf.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, and I'd like comment.
Please.
I agree. I think coastside buzz is extremely valuable. But as my fiduciary duty on the Harbor District Board is to look out for the finances of the Harbor District Board, not just the public information of the entire coastside. I'm tempted, I would like to maybe amend this motion to maybe a 6-month contract. I have a lot of questions just from my experience. I was on the McDonald's San Francisco Bay Area Advertising Committee for 4 years, and I worked with many high powered advertising programs, and learned a lot. I was fascinated by the data that was given to us at every meeting that we had where we were talking about advertising, which was, if you pay any attention, McDonald's is always advertising, always has something on sale. So we had to always keep track of it. And I have some questions before I can vote for a year's contract. Jim, do you know how much public interaction at any of our festivals or events or on daily visits that the public, how much the public uses this coastside buzz? It's, as you said, it's mostly limited to local. And I think one of our goals is to get better serve the entire population of San Mateo County, not just the coastside, as has been the tradition, which generally happens through prior to next or through word of mouth or habit. So I'm curious about how much of an effort of a difference this the coastside buzz and its outreach is making. And do you have any idea?
The June report, every month with the invoice, we get the impact analytics for June. I put it in there specifically for that. Active users on the site and looking at it were 29,000. And of those, 26 was their first time visiting the site, according to the analytics. So it does reach out. And when I say it focuses on the coast side, it's the stories of the that affect the coast side that are published or restated on the website and put on their calendars. Not necessarily only people from the coast side read it. There's several people and organizations on the other side of the hill that read it. People read it from all over to get their information coming into the harbor of what's going on. So it's not just focused to people here on the coast side. It's just focused on coastside stories.
Correct.
And with respect to the 6 months, this contract really sets that up to reduce some staff time and bringing it back to the board, because any board member can bring it up as a new motion to consider the contract of canceling it at any time, because Article 20 of the professional service agreement provides the authority to the district to cancel it at any time for cause or no cause. So if we're not satisfied with what's going on with it, the board can vote to cancel the contract at any time.
Thank you. One of the other things that I would like to see is this is simply a spot, a pinprick in time to see June of 2026. Are there statistics available that cover the entire length we have had
Yes.
this contract?
Yes,
I would very much like to see those.
I can provide those too.
That would be good. You know, this doesn't tell me who the active users are. Like you say, they're all over. It doesn't tell me how many repeat active users there are. It doesn't tell us of the new users. I'm not sure with the active users at 29,000 or new users at 26. Does that add up to 55,000 users or what? The active engagement time is only 20 seconds.
Which is a long time. On Instagram and Facebook, that's, people are scrolling. 20 seconds is long.
Yeah, but they scroll through jillions of things.
Correct.
How well it hits and influences their thoughts and actions is a whole nother question. My guess is that when it's longer than 20 seconds, it's probably having more effect. But this and you know, at some points, the user bar, and again, I'm over the month of June, it follows an interesting pattern, and I'm wondering what it is that causes the spikes, and why they don't stay consistently up there. Under views over time, it's only it's only a week's worth of views. Again, it doesn't tell me what we're getting for our money. And, I'd like to get those basic questions answered.
Yep, I can bring it back. What stories led to the spikes? And there's a lot more analytics we can bring back to the board if they're interested in more detailed and in-depth analysis on what all those questions you asked about, the users, repeat users, new users, what stories are driving it, what platforms are reading it off of.
And I think we should use this and talk to Michelle about it to develop some kind of long-range outreach plan and program for the Harbor District with the amount of events and activities that we are working in a year's time. We're hoping to increase that, to increase traffic to the Harbor District and increase its value to the county of San Mateo. So I'd like for us to put together some kind of outreach. I'm calling it outreach, not PR, not media. I want it to be a broad tent so that we can actually have some kind of written goals and efforts.
And that's the same thing that the finance committee directed. So you're in line with what they've already requested staff.
Gee, we think alike.
Yes, so I'll comment. Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up, Catherine. So just to be more specific about what Jim was talking about is we were thinking about how does a coast-side buzz or someone like a coast-side buzz fit into the overall communication strategy? And so we were looking at the other PR firm whom we've hired who does something different. So that's what that we're going to bring back, I think, in terms of discussing the overall communications and public affairs strategy. If that kind of helps clarify things. Tom, do you have a comment?
Yeah, perhaps we could ask Coastside Buzz to give us this type of information on page 52 of 75, but solely for the Harbor District related posts and reposts or whatever you want to call them, the Google Analytics, not just for Coastside Buzz of 29,000, 26,000 and so on. How many opens and how many eyeballs just directed towards the Harbor District?
Bill? Okay, so I agree with Tom because the presentation that we got at the Finance Committee was about Coastside Buzz overall, when it was in fact a renewal of the contract for the Harbor District with an increase of $1,200 a year, which for Coastside Buzz's insurance, which the Harbor District would have borne 100% of the cost, which is the reason that, that has been brought up here. Jim, thank you for writing it, putting in your staff report. Some of the points that were brought up that Tom and I, because we're both on the Finance Committee, thought were salient. Catherine, you bring up some great points when asked about presenting the monthly report. Michelle actually put in up there our invoice for 1 month. So Catherine, you're right. It doesn't give a whole picture. It just gives 1 month's worth, which was her invoice. So anyway, we until we can meet and regroup together as a board about the communication strategy, we decided, Tom and I decided to move this forward to renew the contract for 12 months at the same cost, so that the Harbor District isn't bearing 100% of the increase when there are only 2 contracted customers. One is us and the other one is Sewer Authority Mid-Coast. So that we're, the 2 agencies are paying the cost, but we were bearing 100% of the cost based on what Ms. Dragony was looking for. So Tom made the motion and Bill seconded the motion, but Catherine, you were interested in possibly amending the motion to 6 months, but if you don't want to do that, we can drop that.
Let's just drop that suggestion, but I'm saying that because I really want this board to take a further effort.
Right.
I think it's a timely
Strategic.
effort with the direction we are going.
Yeah.
To be able to get our voice out to the folks at San Mateo County who go, I didn't know we had a harbor.
So you're pretty much in line with what the committee and the general manager were thinking.
Right.
Okay.
And needless to say, without adding in, but I will in a needless fashion, we have to include Oyster Point on this.
Yes, so that was brought up in the meeting too.
Oyster Point is has such a great population base, very close to that. And so I think it's important for you to realize what benefits having Oyster Point there beside the liveaboards and the ferry service, how it can be used to enrich their lives.
Yeah, and that was brought up too, Catherine. Thank you. Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Matoush, seconded by Commissioner Zemke to approve the contracted services. So roll call, is there any other public comment? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Matoush,
Aye.
Commissioner Slater Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Chankrali,
Aye.
President Damarab, Commissioner Zemke.
Aye.
Right, the motion carries. Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Tom, for being on, and thanks for bringing up those same exact points, Catherine. Okay, moving on to item G3, which is the Harbor District parcels. Jim, this is basically to provide staff with specific consideration of the Burnham Strip parcels. Jim, would you like to kick off this report?
Yes, good morning. And once again, the district has purchased several parcels in the recent history. And I just want to make sure the board is aware of what we're using those parcels for. There's nothing significantly new in this, with the exception of we do have some private parties have shown interest in purchasing the parcels at Burnham Strip, but there's several things we have to do under the Public Lands Act before we can consider such a thing. So wanted to make sure to bring that to the attention of the board. And I thought it would be a great time to review all the recent purchases that we've done. So back in November 23, the board approved the purchase of several parcels of land near Pillar Point Harbor to include 7 different parcels. Those parcels are located between Sam's and parking lot C3, and then 2 parcels over on the Burnham Strip. In that area of the Burnham Strip, you have 5 parcels. One is a residential house, followed by number 2, which is our parcel, a parcel in between parcels 1 and 2, as indicated, that's privately owned. Parcel 1 we own, and then there's another parcel to the north of parcel 1 that's privately owned. And then the county and Caltrans own the rest of it with their easements. Parcels 3 through 7 again are above the launch ramp, and the district has directed staff to work on converting that empty parcel into overflow parking for the harbor district when needed, but it'll be general public parking for the beach, for the launch ramp, and for businesses and our Surfers Beach restroom area. And that's already been approved, and we're working towards that. The other parcels, what are we doing here? We have, are the ones on the Burnham Strip. They're in a separate zoning called EG zone, El Granada zone, and their use is significantly restricted to linear parks or trails, outdoor athletic fields, outdoor recreational areas, vegetative stormwater treatment systems or underground storage facilities, public parking for Surfers Beach, or public restrooms and showers. On this, at one point, the district was looking at building our parking lot on lot number 2, but to build a parking lot big enough to meet our purposes, we would need the private lot between 1 and 2, and we weren't able to purchase that. So we had to come up with a different option, and that's why we moved over to parcels 3 through 7. The district did receive a lot of public outcry from El Granada about putting a parking lot on the Burnham Strip, and at a meeting hosted by the supervisor and the congressman, the public was very vocal about putting a parking spot on the Burnham Strip and opposing it.
You mean by the state senator, not Congress?
State senator. State senator. And they, the question was asked at that meeting if they would rather have the parking lot on the west side of the highway, and there was a resounding yes to that question. So moving the parking lot over to the other side was also in line with the desire of the local public to move the parking lot to the west side. And that's what we're doing with that. Right now, we do not have any plans for lots number 1 or number 2. However, there's been some discussion at the staff level with the idea of daylighting Deer Creek, which would run along parcels 1 and 2 down to Surfers Beach to meet the TMDL requirements set by the water board. And that would be an engineered bioswale, putting the creek in it, daylighting it all the way down to naturally filter the water before entering on Surfers Beach. It would also prevent all the sand that comes down from the hillside and deposits into Pillar Point Harbor, gets trapped. So it would solve that purpose either too. But the project is not a Harbor District project. It's not on Harbor District land. It would run in the Caltrans right of way. But we do have the option or opportunity to use parcels 1 and 2 as kind of a natural park to have the creek kind of moraine flood over into those parks with benches and make it a public area, and also an ecosystem on the Burnham Strip for native plants and animals. So the board may want to consider that in deciding what options we should do for the futures of plots 1 and 2. On December 20th, the board approved the purchase of 6 additional parcels over in Princeton. It was an old boat storage yard, and the district purchased that, and we continued to use those parcels as a boat storage yard for customers of Pillar Point Harbor. And then also we're looking at, in the future, of putting in stack storage. So we'll be able to put even more boats into that area for storage. And then also hope considering developing a plan to offer launch service, so boaters can call and ask us to have their boat ready, and we'll put it in the water for them, and then they can take off, and then we'll put it back for them, of course, for service. On October 16th, there was another opportunity to buy the old boatyard in Princeton, and we took advantage of that, and we bought those parcels. It was 8 parcels right on the waterfront in Princeton. And it did serve as the old boatyard. The old rails are still visible there. We've cleaned that yard up right now and put new fencing up, and it is currently being used as a storage area. It may also be used in the near future by the Army Corps for a staging area or a deployment area for this Princeton shoreline project. At that point, we'll shift the boats to another area for storage until the yard is clear again.
So just to be clear, Jim, that's for April 16th, not October 16th of 2025, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Did I say October?
yeah,
I
but, or
apologize.
maybe I misheard, but I just want to clarify that it's April.
So those lots, it's been cleaned up. The crew did a fantastic job. The shoreline of those properties are falling into Princeton Harbor because of the erosion caused by the breakwater, but that will be addressed by the Army Corps in the Princeton Shoreline Project. So we're very excited about that. And then the other parcel that we have is the parcel next to the post office in El Granada. The parcel is empty, undeveloped. The district has allowed the public to build kind of a public garden along one edge of the park that's maintained by the public. The rest of the area is just grass and unused. There is no water meter to that piece of property, so that's difficult for resale. We have declared this piece of property as surplus. It was advertised to other agencies to see if any interest on any agency wanting to buy it. No agency has wanted to buy it, and no member of the public has offered or has been interested in purchasing that land. So that land remains vacant and maintained by the Harbor District. So the question before the board, or not a question, but direction I need from the board is, what do we want to do with, are your ideas with the Burnham Strip? Should we leave it alone? There was a suggestion earlier today by the public of donating it to GCSD. We can declare it surplus and go down that route, at which it will be offered to public agencies first and then to the public. We can take no action and let them sit as they are now. But as empty vacant lots, the district does have a responsibility to use that land for some public good. And my recommendation is, again, my request is getting direction of the board on how you would like to proceed. I'd like personally is the idea of reserving those pieces of land for the Deer Creek project. Would be a great use of that property, and that way we take no action today. There was one development since the publication of this report, is that house is no longer, or that house may be donated to public agency and may go into public hands here in the near future. Barring any questions, that's what I have for the board.
Thank you. And I'll open it up to public comment, and we do have one from Barbara Dye. And I did actually add G3 on the other one, so now I'll add this
I
one.
did comment, so I guess
Thank
that's
you,
fair enough.
Barbara.
Hi,
Thanks for
everyone.
being here.
Just make sure that the light is green.
It is, yes. I'm Barbara Dye. I am here as an individual. I'm not speaking for GCSD, but I'm also speaking as a local historian, and an advocate for open space, and someone who knows a lot about the politics of GCSD and the things that have gone on in this community. I'm just here to say that I would hope that there will be more conversations between the Harbor District and GCSD about your Burnham Strip parcels and also the downtown El Granada one. I'm not sure. I like the Deer Creek solution, doing something about that. I mean, there's just a lot of options, and I would hate to see them be sold for commercial use without a thorough exploration of how perhaps GCSD and the Harbor District might work together. There's just a lot that can happen, and I'm just saying I look forward to hopefully working together to fulfill the dream of the people who worked so hard to convert the Granada Sanitary District to the Granada Community Services District so that the entire Burnham Strip could be preserved. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other, I don't have any other public comment cards. Do you have? Okay, great. For this item? Okay, so Brigitte Bauer for item G3. Thank
Yeah,
you.
So I would be interested to know, what is the price you're willing to sell the post office lot for? I think when you paid $280,000 more than what it was appraised to, you made it basically unsellable, because at 1.3 million, there's a lot of problems. But it's like, this is going to overlook what will be the Burnham Park. And it's in a great interest to El Granadians what will become of this lot. Also a comment on the Burnham Strip. Those parcels were just thrown in. They had no basic worth to you. And the other parcels just got expensive, but because people got very eager when they thought they can sell it as parking lots. People who have lived here for decades and fought for preserving some open space, they are so bitter about the harbor. And I think you could help your reputation by making this either a water park or donating it to the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any other public comment cards here. Are there any speakers online? Okay, I'll open it up to commissioner comments and questions. Catherine?
Yeah.
Commissioner Slater Carter?
I will say I support the Harbor District having bought each and every one of the parcels. They may not be used in the way that they were originally purchased with the idea of using them for, but there is board changes, the situations change, the times change, but the need for the Harbor District to be able to have space to operate and fulfill its mission to the entire county is critical. And here's some of the thoughts after reading this report that have popped into my head after many years. And by the way, Brigitte, I've been working on environmental stuff on the coast for over 30 years. I was the one who appealed the loss of the parking for Surfers Beach, the only one who appealed that loss of parking. That's the only reason we got any parking required by Caltrans. So we're on this same watching out for the public interest. We are on that same track. And I think it's a good thing to have many people looking out for the land on parcels 1 and 2 on the Harbor District. Frankly, we could use them as mitigation land if we wanted to do something that would require some sort of mitigation. Mitigation can be very expensive. And I think us owning them And if we can use them and get through the permitting for Deer Creek, that would be perfect. But I don't know what the future brings. And we may need to do something on the edge of the harbor. And we may need to have some kind of mitigation opportunity there. The land next to the post office could be used as staging areas for harbor district improvement for equipment and stuff. A lot of times staging is, we could lease it to Sam, for instance, to stage equipment for the Montera force main. That's the Sam force main in Montera that is going to be commencing shortly. Another thing we could do is lease it to GCSD for parking, because you guys are going to be having a whole lot of space. And you would be surprised how 10 years from now, you may be needing more parking. As things happen, and if it happens the way we would like it on this board, we would like to see more people coming over to the harbor and appreciating the ocean and educating themselves about the ocean. So these are things, just a few off the cuff kind of ideas for these. The two sites in El Granada are critical. We have been needing space for harbor district equipment and harbor district activities. Those may be very convenient if we have to move stuff, our equipment or our storage out of the harbor district public areas near the wharves. As we get more demand, and maybe we see a further opportunity for more commercial space. We don't know to the specifics of what we can use this for, but we should be not committed, and we should be, if we're going to use them, we should be committed to keeping them. Let me rephrase that. We should be committed to keeping them so we can use them as needed for unknown needs in the future.
We don't know what they might be, what they are.
We don't know what they are. This district has, in the short term, made mistakes in selling land that it turned out later would have been useful to further the harbor district mission. And so I think we should just hold tight and see what we can do. But I think our mission of serving the public for the entirety of San Mateo County is important, and you need space to do it.
Thank you. Tom? Commissioner Matoush?
Initially, I wanted to start out by declaring parcel APN 047033180 and APN 047033200. That's basically parcels 1 and 2 on the east side of the highway as surplus. However, I've long been interested in the vegetative stormwater treatment system on Deer Creek. And I just don't know if it's mutually exclusive to say declare those as surplus. We have the opportunity to potentially sell one and recoup some funds. How would that interfere with the stormwater treatment? Whether we got clean water grants or any type of clean water action for having them acquire the remaining parcel. I know the San Mateo County had what used to be called the Stormwater Progress Program, and I didn't know if there's any grants there that would help on the stormwater. But if we have a potential buyer, I wouldn't mind getting my money back on that. And then the other thing is when we talk about El Granada use, it's important that one of the uses that the general manager did not bring up was it is potential to have a 3-story building there in what some people determine as a view corridor. That's one of the permitted El Granada uses. So I guess, well, I'm almost back to the do nothing until we get more information, because I would seriously like to get the Harbor District's money back on parcel 2. However, I'm also very invested in redoing Deer Creek and having that reroute to the ocean, so we don't totally mitigate a lot of our dredging problems that we have in the future. So at this point, I guess I won't move forward with my declaring surplus motion until we find out what's mutually exclusive and what can be done.
Okay, thank you. Bill, Commissioner Zemke.
I appreciate Catherine's comments on all the potential uses that we might see out there for this land in the future. And I think frankly, a lot of those potential uses really aren't in our vision just yet because we don't know what's going to happen. So I am of the mind of basically sitting on this land for now and not declaring it surplus. Who knows what will happen in the future with the Burnham Strip? I do really like the idea of using it for a creek rediversion, and that might have value to different groups for different reasons, but I don't want to sell it right now and then 10 years from now saying, oh, darn, we could have done this with that land. So I'm definitely in favor of just holding on to our current course of action.
The other thing, could the stormwater treatment system be done entirely underneath Caltrans land?
Could be options.
Yeah, so I agree with everyone that if we do nothing, we preserve, I think the most number of options. I mean, at least right now, until we can have a meeting or a study session on how we want to, another one, how do we want to do this, which is something that we should consider. So Jim, I agree. Do you want a motion?
I'd like to make a motion.
Yeah, go. Oh, hold on. Do we,
The agenda is just provide direction.
or direction? Okay.
Just,
One of my other thoughts is on those 2 sites on the Burnham Strip is we can always connect them for engineering purposes with an agreement from Caltrans to use the Caltrans right of way. So we don't know what structures or what kind of equipment or underground equipment we're going to need. I would comment to the audience that on the Burnham Strip, Granada, who purchased its first chunk of land on the Burnham Strip, to put in a operations management facility that handles wet weather, water, and operations needs on the Burnham Strip, and Montera and Granada put this underground. It is one of the most unique sewer facilities that I've heard of, and I'm proud. I'm sorry Half Moon Bay will not willingly participate in finishing that project. But in fact, if you drive along, you might see some manholes, and that's all you can see. This is 400,000 gallons of capacity to handle flow into the Sewer Authority Mid-Coast side facility. When it is overwhelming the facility in Half Moon Bay, this is a gravity-fed, and mechanically operated, so it doesn't depend. It's a very, very green project that diverts the water into these tanks. It fills up when the plant can handle them. It then starts feeding the water back into the plant so the plant can operate at maximum efficiency. It has protected our beaches from many spills. It has protected our crew from going into dangerous situations. And when it was first proposed. And like I say, Granada negotiated and got that square of land, and it's such coastside benefit for the entire coastside, for our beaches, keeping our beaches clean and so on. So, but we had never heard of this kind of project. And it was designed by SRT, the engineer for Sewer Authority Mid-Coast Side, and it was put in. And it has, like, I just can't go on long enough. So I'll quit. But what a benefit this is that was unforeseen 2 years before it was proposed. And how much money it has saved us. So even site one may have some kind of, maybe it would be a underground retention basin to manage the flow for the creek, to manage it getting into the harbor. We don't know.
So I like the possibility of working with Granada in some way, shape or form, but I don't think we have to decide that here. But it's something to consider. You kind of brought up the possible synergies with collaboration or for collaboration. So thank you, Barbara, for suggesting that. I think at this point, the direction it sounds like is to do nothing at this time. If that's, Tom, okay, am I missing something?
Yes, what you're missing is the continuation of item 3
Oh.
on recommended use of the projects. So on page 74, there's Princeton projects or parcels labeled 1 through 8 and 1 through 6. And I'd say continue their intended use.
Okay, yeah. Okay, we're gonna break up yes, good point. So for the Burnham strip on page 72, we'll hold off on page 74, parcels 1 through 6. These are the 1 through 8 in Princeton continue. And I guess
Parcels 3 through 7 continue.
yeah, yes,
Intended use on page 72.
yes. And then the post office, I guess we're in a holding pattern.
That was decided a long time ago.
Yeah, for surplus land.
Surplus.
Yeah, but in terms of finding a buyer. Okay, so does that give you enough direction, Jim? Okay,
Thank you. GCSD has a lot on its plate right now, so deferring this is good for us as well.
thank you, Barbara. Okay, so now that you have direction, we'll go on to item H, which is future agenda items. Any commissioners with any ideas or wants on this? I have something, but do you have? Catherine?
I'd like on our potential list, having a outreach program developed either by the finance committee or another committee and then brought to the board. This may be a several years long project, but I think we should get started.
Yes, so I was going to say something very similar about a communications/public affairs strategy. We just renewed, excuse me, Coastside Bus. When is the Kastama contract up for renewal? Jim, do you know?
It's out.
Yeah, but okay, so
Did we fund it in the budget?
No, we did not.
I thought we set aside money. Okay, well, okay. Okay, so I agree, Catherine, so on the future agenda item, and maybe, I don't know if it is just, maybe not for the board, or if it just should go back to the finance committee. What do you think, how do you think we should proceed, Jim, if we want to get the overall strategy? Should we have this on a future agenda so that we can give direction again? Or do we want to do a study session on this topic, or what do we?
We may want to do all that, but the first step is for staff to research it and bring a recommended
Action, yeah. Okay, so then let's put that on
The finance committee has already
talked about it, yeah.
And staff have already started to work on that, to bring it to the finance committee before the first of the year. And then, once we bring it to the finance committee can then direct or decide how they will proceed, either back to the board for a vote or back to the board for a workshop or whatever. But
Okay,
our first step is to bring a report to the finance committee for consideration before the first of the year. So
okay. So then
we can put a future agenda item for
we
the
may
spring.
need to, we may not need to. That's why I'm
I don't think
asking.
one is needed because
Okay.
we've already received it.
Okay, then I'm going to take that off and I don't have any future agenda items, Bill.
No, I haven't on the same.
Tom, do y'all have any future agenda items? If not, then
Other than the one I mentioned.
yeah. Well, that's going to go into the, like, is the finance committee
Right,
already?
right.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to close out item H and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn at 11:16. Moved by Commissioner Slater Carter. There's
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Mathush. So all in favor?
Aye.
So the meeting is adjourned at 11:16.